Welcome back, True Seeker. It is January 6th, 2026. Of course, 5 years ago today was the big staged theatrics of the supposed insurrection, where when people like the dressed up QAnon shaman got inside, they pulled out their phones and took selfies because the insurrection was that serious. And shout out to Woo's News, who did an excellent documentary breaking down just how staged and theatrical the whole thing was, only to have his video taken down by YouTube. And of course, there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. It just exposed a major agenda, just like how my channel's been taken down 25 times on this platform alone, not to mention the countless other platforms I've been deleted off of for simply exposing the corruption of our government, a subject that's taboo to most people and something nobody wants to explore. And the reason for why that is in the quote on the screen. Again, often attributed to Aristotle and a motto of the Jesuits, again, the military order of the Catholic Church: give me a child until he is 7 and I will show you the man. And of course, that quote goes back some time where throughout much of the world, the male has been more recognized than the female. Thus, most modern religions that are about men and women are secondary. But of course, the true applies to both, or the quote applies to men and women. Essentially, show me the child and I'll show you the adult. It's why they put us in school at such a young age, to begin filling our heads with all these ideas. And look at right now on YouTube, for example, there's not a whole lot of negativity from anyone. There's not a whole lot of criticism about the U.S. government going into another nation in the night, killing several civilians and capturing their leader. Instead, you see a lot of people cheering it on. You see people saying, well, we took out a dictator tyrant who's been suppressing the people of that nation. The irony. You don't think, see, that's the thing. Here in the United States, where we benefit off all the blood money, if you will, from what we've done across the world, conquering leaders and stealing their resources, which is exactly what we'll be doing in Venezuela. And again, for everyone who thinks Venezuela has been underperforming, the U.S. has been involved in all the South American countries for decades. So it's been probably kept on the back burner and purposefully underperforming for when the time is right for us to come in and get the resources we want. So people don't get, but they should get. But yeah, it's just, it's gross to watch. People are obsessed with this Somali daycare fraud right now. And I don't hear anyone saying what needs to be said in any of those videos. None of this fraud would be possible if the government didn't steal your wealth from you through what they call taxation. Again, they take your money and then they allow it to be allocated the way they want. If there's not all these pools of money everywhere from all the stolen wages that are taken from us, none of this can happen. And that's the thing that people should really be mad about. Fraud. It happens on all levels with the funds that are out there that the government allows for people to take. And some people do need assistance and aid, but a lot of people, they will scam and they'll take what they don't need. Tons of people figure out all kinds of ways to take tax money and pad their own income. And granted, they probably wouldn't have to do that if they weren't being taxed so much on what they do earn. I always bring up the point of my wife's coworker. He makes about $25 an hour, not the worst wage, not the best wage, but he's in a relationship that he's been in for 15 years. They have 3 children. And for the entire time they've been together, his wife files as a single mother, even though they live in the same household. And they just, do some paperwork and they say, oh, she actually lives here with a parent. I forget exactly how they do it, but there's just so many ways to manipulate the system. So, they get subsidized by the government as a single mother would, even though it's 2 working parents in the household. It's an intact relationship. Again, there's a lot of people doing things like this. Stop taxing people's income. Stop giving so much tax money to the government. There shouldn't be so many pools of revenue for people to tap into. Again, in a sense, it's like, why does daycare even need to be subsidized in the first place? But I didn't want to go down that road. Again, people, a whole bunch of hubbub's been made about that, but how much money was just spent on going into another nation with this huge military show? Like I said yesterday, it says that we're spending upwards of $200 million per day in Venezuela since we started the drug boat bombing campaign. But this is what it is, you guys, in the United States of America: mind control. Take the child's mind, and you know exactly what that person's going to be to grow up to be. And almost nobody in the United States sees anything wrong with the U.S.'s imperialistic ways. Going into this nation, removing that leader, assassinating that person, overthrowing this government, starting this war here, funding that war there. Again, and none of this is helping us. See, they tell us all these lies that, oh, this is how we protect democracy. This is how we keep ourselves this is how we keep ourselves free. This is how we it's all bullshit. All of this militarism is what was warned about by Eisenhower, the military industrial complex. You know, this is decades ago as he was leaving office. He said, if you don't stop this machine, it's going to grow beyond your worst nightmares. All of this stuff keeps power and wealth concentrated in the people who not only rule over this nation but rule over the world. And yeah, this idea that again, I was making the point earlier that, oh, the Venezuelan people have been held back by their poor leadership. What do you think is going on in the United States of America, where you spend 13 years in slave school? Did you see the dead congressman this morning? I put out a video on that. Right after his 13th anniversary, he's just dead out of nowhere, perfectly by the numbers. R.I.P. Dead 187 days after his birthday. The homicide code in California, where he's dead. But anyway, I mean, this idea that the Venezuelan people are being held back. You don't think we're being held back in the United States? You don't think everybody's being held back from their potential? You go to 13 years of slave school, where you learn almost nothing beneficial to you. You get your head filled with all this bullshit about how great your country is and how much better it is than the rest of the world, which isn't true. And mind you, a lot of these nations that are suffering, that we say, well, at least I'm not there, the reason they're suffering is because of the intervention of Western nations, where their quality leaders were killed and overthrown because the U.S. or another Western nation wanted something there, or wanted them to become some cheap slave labor nation. Just like how almost all of our garments are made overseas, where people make like 1 penny an hour to put everything together. And realize these things come over here on ships, and they don't cost anything for these corporations, but we still pay a hefty price for them. And again, it keeps that ruling class, these people that have all the wealth, while almost everybody else has nothing. Here in the United States, it's been this way for over 20 years now. The greatest wealth disparity in the history of the world exists in the United States, where about 100 people have the same wealth as the rest of the nation combined. Think about how insane that is. 100 people. I could fit all 100 people in this house I live in here. I don't live in the biggest house, but I could fit all the wealthiest people in the whole country in here right now. I couldn't fit the remaining 300 and some million that they have the same amount of wealth as. And again, this is how it works. Again, just a small ruling class doing things like this, going into a nation, overthrowing its leader, taking its riches, keeping it mostly for themselves, throwing a few crumbs to the other 300 million people and say, oh, see, things are a little bit better. Hey, isn't gas prices down 25 cents for you? See what we did? Hey, cheer along when we overthrow Greenland next. And then when we send the CIA and British Petroleum or Chevron or whoever's going to be this time into Iran. Anyway, it's just maddening how, like this kind of thing. It's not that you don't see some great outrage online right now over this, but man, that Somali daycare fraud. Whoa. Did you see that supposed Dave guy? He said that he's pretty sure this is the greatest fraud in the history of the country. The Somali daycare fraud. Oh, that's the greatest fraud in the history of the U.S. Yeah, I'm sure. How about when those towers came crumbling down and the biggest lie ever told that started 20 years of war that cost us how many trillions of dollars? How many lives that made the world how much less safer? And don't forget when all those wars ended, right? They ended on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, the same Jesuits that say, show me the child and I'll show you the adult. Anyway, today, Trump administration ready to take over Greenland. And you know how old Greenland's going to turn this year? Yeah, Greenland going to turn 47 years old this year, you guys. Greenland's about to turn 47. Funny enough, it has the Same birthday as the Illuminati, May 1st. You know, Donald Trump, his ugly mug, it's in the Illuminati card game that came out decades ago. But yeah, Greenland about to turn 47, and the Trump administration says, "Oh yeah, 47, perfect time to acquire." Remember, Venezuela? This is being compared to what we did to Hugo Chavez a couple decades back, where he was removed from power for supposedly 47 hours. And the CIA since 1947. But yeah, Greenland. You know, they say they have all the minerals for the Green New Deal. So take Greenland to get the rare earth elements for the Green New Deal. Sure, be good for the Elon Musk Tesla Motors stock price. Don't forget how Elon Musk threw up the old SS salute on Inauguration Day last year in tribute to Wernher von Braun, 47 years after Wernher von Braun died. Of course, Wernher von Braun, again, invented the Elon character who leads the mission to Mars, the planet that has the 47-year orbital cycle. So that was the joke, you know. It's been one full cycle since for Mars since Wernher von Braun died, who invented the Elon character, and then Elon's thrown up the SS salute when Wernher von Braun was SS. And don't forget, Wernher von Braun's wife died the same day that Elon Musk did the salute. The coincidence. But yeah, well, what do we do here? I mean, we just, it's like, you can't break through the mind control, you guys. You cannot break through the mind control of the average American. They're so in sync with the lies. They're so in sync with the agenda. It's because this is how they were raised to be, and they just do not have the capacity up here to break out of the lanes they've been put into. We sit here every day and we give all the proof in the world of what's going on. We show people how this knowledge can benefit them in so many ways so they don't get taken by the agenda, so they can take advantage of the rigged system. From the markets, again, silver is the 47th element on the periodic table. It skyrocketed this year once number 47 took office. Number 47 turned 79. The 79th element on the periodic table is gold. Gold skyrockets, having its best year since 1979. By the way, notice as they talk about taking Greenland, Greenland got independence from Denmark in 79. You know, that's not an accident. And keep in mind, you know, best year for gold. We'll see what happens because this year is going to be 47 years since that monster year for gold back in 79. Silver's the 47th element on the periodic table. Gold's the 79th. Who set up the periodic table? Again, look into these Jesuits, the same ones known for this quote, the same ones who gave you the calendar, the same ones that run this nation, the same ones that are largely responsible for the education system as we know it, the medical system as we know it, the same ones that ran the whole Cooties 19 scam. As so many people were put out of business, mom and pops destroyed, and the billionaire class got richer and richer and richer. And don't forget who was in office at that time too, the chump. But yeah, this knowledge, just day after day, it exposes what's going on. And so many people, even though they see it, they don't want to comprehend it because it messes with their worldview. Their worldview is America's the greatest. You know, I'm just another sheep in the herd. It's safer in the herd. March with the herd. Again, the sheep herd's going to get marched off the cliff. And again, just about this knowledge. You see these stories today. Two GOP congressmen in bad shape. One's in bad shape in the hospital, and the other's dead. And Trump's like talking about it like he's joyful. Again, look at the gematria, guys. Forwards and backwards. Donald Trump is Mr. 60, the winner of the 60th election, where we told you 1,000 times before he even won why he was going to win and why, even before he said he was running. Told you 1,000 times why they were going to reinstall him in the 60th election. There's been so many 60 rituals with this guy. Today's the 60th month since January 6th, a bad day for the GOP. And then this is the thing. It's another bad day for the GOP. They've lost a member and another one's not doing well in the hospital and their names equal 60. I mean, this is major league ritualism. And it just goes to show it's not. It's just that. It's ritualism. There's no strategic advantage, right, for the Republicans to take out their own, but it's because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Both parties are two wings of the same bird, and it's symbolic. It's just symbolic. It's just that simple. Bad day for the GOP 60 months ago. 60 months later, here we are, and this is the news in the morning. And again, the Doug LaMelfa, who's dead, 187 days after his birthday, the homicide code for the state that he's the congressman in. And again, even before January 6th happened, we had it all. Again, if you missed my work, I said, watch, people are going to die on January 6th because it's all part of the simulation that was done by Jesuit Georgetown. I said they're going to pay tribute to the Civil War. That's why they're doing it on the 6th day of the first month. Civil War began in 1861. Lincoln blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits. Notice how from the election, the anniversary of the Jesuits trying to kill King James, remember the 5th of November, from the election today is also 61 weeks. Washington, D.C., 61. That also happens today. I mean, come on, man. Come on. And if you missed this earlier, just real quick. Trump supposedly got 312 electoral college votes. The guy who's dead today, his name equals 312. He's a California congressman, dead at 65. California, 65. He died yesterday, a date with 52 numerology. California, 52. Not to mention he became a congressman at age 52 in California. Gavin Newsom, the governor, he dies on the 88th day of Newsom's age. California, 88. Again, we had the debate challenger last week, and she just, like a lot of people, just stuck. She kept saying, like, oh, I don't get how you're choosing this cipher, that cipher. And I kept saying, I don't know. I keep asking the same question. We're not choosing the ciphers. It's a system. There's 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, both orders with numerology applied. Day after day, the rituals unfold, and you see how the system fits together. On the 88th day of the governor's age, on a 52-date numerology, at age 65, a California congressman is dead. And he's perfectly synced up with the two Jesuit politicians, Gavin Newsom, who went to Santa Clara, and Trump, who went to Fordham. And again, from his own birthday, July 2nd, to his death, 187 days. Now there's 218 remaining members of the GOP, Holy Roman Empire, 187 and 218. Remember how these numbers fit in with the whole Charlie Kirk TP USA ritual? If you forgot, go back and watch what wasn't deleted by YouTube. Again, they took down the 3 videos that got the most views, all for hate speech, even though there was none. Washington, D.C. and Society of Jesus, 187. Arsenic poisoning, 187 and 88. That's what the Jesuits are known for killing people with poison. Poison does have the same gematria as Holy Roman Empire. And again, it's just a reminder of Trump the first time around. Had his GOP convention in Cleveland on 18/7, 187 days from Inauguration Day. Again, the Jesuits, from their leader's birthday to this weird death, 54 days. Big number with the Jesuit history. Their headquarters is at the Church of the Jesus, Building 54. Don't forget, Trump's in the movie 54, about Club 54, Studio 54. Trump's in that one. And then, yeah, just dead on the 206th day of Trump's age. 206 bones in the adult body. Sacrifice 206. We've seen it 1,000 times. Dead 118 days after the state's birthday. Homicide and death. I mean, come on. And understanding this knowledge, part of the reason we had the Clippers to win last night in their game, which they did. Clippers 118. Los Angeles, California 118. Remember when LA burned up on November 8th, 118, the same day that Paradise, California burned up? Now they got a Hollywood movie about it burning up by the numbers. Paradise, California 118. Again, the power of this knowledge is seeing through this stuff like nobody's business. Here was yesterday in the NBA. Knicks Pistons. Again, I always rank out my top scenario and put it on top, and there's reasons that it's the top. In this case, like I told people yesterday, it's a close call. It's a dangerous game, but you can take the dog with the points. And we led with the 13 playing for the Pistons because it's a Monday Moon Day. The moon has the 13-month cycle. Moon Day, 13 usually plays. We gave the Pistons the edge. Pistons beat the Knicks squarely yesterday. A surprising outcome because it wasn't supposed to be a blowout like that. But yeah, we're on the right side of it. Bulls and Celtics. I thought the Celtics would cover the 11.5 yesterday. They won by 14, so they covered the spread. I thought they'd win by at least 12. Bulls like that, 12. Celtics get it done. I thought the best game of the day in the NBA was the Raptors yesterday, just because 15 is so consistent with Atlanta. Atlanta, the 15 city. You see, Atlanta has a double connection to 15. Atlanta's 15 and 120, which is the 15th triangular number. Raptors stay on 15 losses, beating Atlanta squarely. The Rockets, they like 1-1-2 in Houston. Houston and 1-1-2, big time pattern there. and they get to 11-2 at home. Plus, we call it the master set, 22-11. Those are the master numbers. Rockets get by the Suns, beat them. Thunder Hornets. We thought Hornets were two plays, taking it plus 16.5 because yesterday I had 16 date numerology and OKC 16. That means they can lose by 16. And we thought they were worth a money line play too because they had a lot of narrative to upset. I mean, look how lopsided it is for the major underdog Hornets. They have all this. The Thunder just had like really one thing going for them. The Hornets blow out the Thunder by 27 points. And again, that's a big number on Monday is 27. You see Monday's 27 forwards and backwards. Huge payout there yesterday. The Nuggets beat the 76ers as well. They were an 11.5 point underdog and thought the Nuggets teased up to plus 13.5 and also money line were worthy plays yesterday. They had the 27s on their side. And you got to love winning with 125 in Philly, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 125. Again, you learn these numbers. You see through the script night after night. Now, you know, Oklahoma City's on the 97th meridian for the record. They lose with 97 in a big upset. We thought, again, we gave the Clippers the edge yesterday, and that's why I'm bringing this up, because they like that 118 number. We thought, Battle of California teams, 118 days after the state's birthday. Looks better for the Clippers. They were a slight underdog at home with some nice value, and pretty lopsided, too, for the Clippers. They had a lot more going for them. They win. And the only game that I got wrong yesterday in the NBA was my hometown Blazers. I just can't get it right lately with the Blazers. And I thought the Jazz at plus 7.5 was the smarter play here, but no. So anyway, how many games were there? There 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a nice little 7 in one day in the NBA with some major upsets. So yeah, big payday again for us in the community, in the sports community. And NHL yesterday. We gave the Mammoth the edge because they could pick up the 43rd points. 43 breaks down to 7. Yesterday's true date numerology path was 7. And we thought the Rangers getting the 14th total home loss of the year made a lot of sense too. Utah loves 14. It's played like a charm all year with Utah in the NHL. Rangers go down. Mammoth were slight underdogs. Could have taken them with the goals. My game of the day yesterday was the Capitals to beat the Ducks to become 13-7 at home. Washington, D.C. 137 and just getting the 13th home win over the Ducks. Capitals smacked them, beating them 7-4. Told people that was the safest game yesterday in the NHL. Red Wings and Senators, we thought the Red Wings, who were plus money, the underdog, had a little bit better narrative. And sure enough, they go into Ottawa and get it done. And Kraken and the Flames. This one got me yesterday. And I told people when I was doing the game, I was thinking, man, I could be smarter to take the Kraken with the goals. I thought the 19s would come through. Seattle's the only 19 city in America. Flames, I thought that 19-19 was the better narrative. And it's a reminder, we don't win them all, but this is what we do day after day. We win a lot more than we lose. And even like my bad days were still on the winning half. I'll have like 6 right, 5 wrong. That's usually a bad day in my community, where for the average gambler, that'd probably be their day of the year. Most of these guys just go to the casino and lose their wallets every single day, where us, a bad day's better than most people's good days. We have a lot of smashing days like this too. And I would say this was my biggest disappointment yesterday, though, the Wild and Kings. I did think the Wild would pick up the 60th points. It normally works in the Kings game. So sometimes there are some disappointments, but still, you know, nice winning day here. In hockey, we went 1, 2, 3, and 2. So 3 and 2 in hockey, 7 and 1 in the NBA. That's called 10 and 3. That's called winning. And again, that's the beauty of this knowledge. And that's also why we're shadow banned. Because again, it's just like, well, we're doing what's never been done before. Well, I mean, except for what I've been doing for now going on 13 years, but again, just showing you with definitive proof of how rigged the game is day in and day out. And you follow the news in the sports, you'll see how the rituals cross paths all the time. Just like how we were zeroed in on the Clippers game yesterday, 118 days after the state's birthday. You know, and that's why when you guys say, Zach, write a book about what each number means, it's, you guys aren't listening. The numbers don't just mean one thing. But can you imagine reading the definition? So wait a minute. So Clippers, so 118 means Clippers, Los Angeles, California, and death and homicide? No, it's not what it means. But that's how these numbers can be used ritualistically. The point of the knowledge is behind these words or numbers, and the numbers get used ritualistically. 118 will show up all the time in the Clippers rigged basketball games. But yeah, the number does connect to death and homicide, and that's why you see it all the time in these suspicious deaths. A California congressman dead 118 days after the state's birthday. And here's the other thing about what you could also say. That congressman who's dead, it is 118 days after the state's birthday. You could also say it's the 119th day of the state's age. Remember, that's a big number with Donald. Donald equals 119 in that same cipher. But the abbreviation for arsenic is AS. A is the first letter, S is the 19th. 119. Again, when you die from arsenic poisoning, it looks like you just died from sudden illness. That's why it's a favorite way to kill people. And you just got to say, what are the odds this guy would die 187 days after his birthday and also on the 88th day of Gavin Newsom's age? And again, read about the Jesuits. The Jesuits are known for killing people with arsenic. They say the 33-day Pope. Remember the 33-day Pope? If you don't know about him, look him up. He pledged to clean up the mafia from the Vatican Bank. Vatican has its own central bank. Mafia's 33. That's probably his mistake, saying he's going to get the mafia out of the Vatican central bank. And think about that, too. Just the central bankers at the Vatican working with the mob. Are you surprised? But, yeah, he went to bed on the Jesuit order's recognition anniversary and never woke up again. The 33-day Pope. And what year was that again? 33-day Pope. What year did that happen in? 78, right? What's Jesuit equal? Jesuit, 78. So anyway, I got about 25 minutes and then I got to get my daughter. If anybody would like to participate in the stream, the question is, what country shouldn't the U.S. overthrow? What country shouldn't the U.S. overthrow? Again, Trump said the whole hemisphere has been warned. He's floated the idea of Mexico. I mean, hey, we're trying to take over Canada as well. It was Alex Jones maybe 10, 15 years ago who showed the future plans of the Amero, where North America would be all one nation with a currency called the Amero. And of course, Alex Jones, he's a whole different guy now. He's a big Trump guy. He's cheering on the U.S.'s overthrow of Venezuela. It's amazing. It's like, how can you maintain any kind of following? I mean, like, this is a total 180 on your previous positions. But yeah, it sounds like we're getting late in the game. We need the remaining resources. The U.S. has the biggest military in the world. What's anyone going to do about it? What's anyone going to do about it? You can't beat the U.S., so since that's the reality, what country shouldn't we overthrow? Isn't it annoying being the ethical, decent human being living in this country? It's been a real frustrating go for me. Again, I was 18 when 9/11 happened. I realized that my fellow man must be a bunch of retards to fall for the lies of 9/11 and then to put yellow bumper stickers on their car that made them feel like they were doing something great for the young people who'd get sent off to these wars based on lies. Those yellow bumper stickers just used to make me want to vomit. They were just on everybody's car. I just thought, God, what a bunch of losers. You think this is supporting the troops, sending them to fight in a war based on lies? I thought George W. Bush, not that long ago, just said the mistake his dad made was starting these wars in the Middle East. Now we're doing the same thing. He just said it was a mistake. Trump said nation building is a horrible thing the U.S. does. Now he wants to rebuild the whole world. He said everybody's on warning. I don't know why nobody catches on to anything. They just keep going along with lies, evil, imperialism. Does anybody have the ability to put themselves in someone else's shoes? Can you imagine if another country came over here and they were flying drones and fighter jets over? You might be worried that maybe the next bombs were going to get dropped on your house. And isn't it crazy the way propaganda works too? You're seeing like these weird channels just pop up out of nowhere that supposedly have 1 million subs. It's like just today in my feed, and just like, who's this guy? I never heard of him. He's supposedly a Venezuelan guy saying that America did the right thing. Where the hell do these channels come from? Does YouTube just invent them overnight? And then people go, oh, it has 1 million subs, so it must be an established channel. Look, this guy's saying it's great that America overthrew Venezuela's leader. You guys, have any nations done well where America's gone? Look at the Middle East. Total chaos. How are they doing in Vietnam decades later? Are they enjoying working in the sweatshops for pennies an hour? You know, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, let me see. We got fallen exposure. Says seems to me any country that doesn't have a World Bank gonna get one. Yeah, yeah. Central bank, I'm sure is what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it is maddening just listening to all these right wing grifters, all these people saying, "Oh yeah, it's good. U.S. imperialism's good," but really nothing's changed. I mean, it's a bunch of brainwashed people that think America is this great symbol of freedom. Again, there's no freedom here in the U.S. You guys, you weren't free to go to slave school. You go out and you slave away for most of you for low wages. The government gets money from your labor before you see any of it. Taxes is being paid, boom, 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 to the government. You know, it's the Marvin Gaye Inner City Blues song. You know, songs from the 70s. The lyrics to that song are more true today than they were then. And how sad is that? That's what I need to think about is how nothing is improving. Things are only getting worse. And there's no sign that anything is going to get better because there's almost no will within the American people to do anything about it. Just cheering along the evils, what you see from the average American. All right, we got Micah. Micah, you got to unmute. What's up, Micah? Micah, if you see that little microphone symbol with the line through it, you got to click that, and then we can hear you. Until then, you're going to be muted, and I can't do it for you, unfortunately.
Yo.
There you go.
Did I? Hold on. Can you hear me?
I hear you, Micah. I hear you.
All right.
You got to also mute your YouTube video and just talk through StreamYard.
Yeah. I was just checking, but have you know February 8th, right?
The Super Bowl.
You think something might happen? Yeah, they might attack the Super Bowl on February 8th. That's 88 days after the Jesuit's general birthday. Trump equals 88. He's connected to 88. It's also the same day that the Winter Olympics are going on.
Well, they have given us a lot of predictive programming for something happening at the Super Bowl. They got that movie that won some awards back in the day, Black Sunday. It's hard to say, though, because you notice when the NFL's going on, there's never really anything happening in the world when the NFL's going on because it's their top distraction. So I don't know if they'd ever want to put that actual fear inside of American people. I mean, could you imagine if people stopped going to NFL football games? Just like the Romans, the Colosseum was their number one way to control people. It's the same today, and the NFL is probably the number one control mechanism of the average American male. So probably not. Unless it's the end of the country as we know it, and I don't think we're there yet. So probably not.
Well, I looked back at the original 9/11. In 150 days after 9/11, it was the Winter Olympics. The ceremony for the Winter Olympics was in Salt Lake City, Utah, and that's 150 days after 9/11 on February 8th. This February 8th is also 150 days after 9/11.
Okay. Well, but here's also the thing that they do at the Super Bowl now. It looks like a heavily fortified military zone. It's been that way for a while too, so it's also a showing every year.
Yeah.
So if anything,
they say
you know it would be your own government again because there's not really any way to get past the police surveillance state show that is security.
But look what Trump said. I think it was like last year or something. He said that if Iran killed him, he would nuke Iran. And listen. If you read the Bible, right, it literally says when Jesus comes back that Iran will have a monarchy. It literally says. It said I forgot the verse, but it says he will destroy the king of Elam, which is pretty sure in the south of Iran. So you know it. And who do they want to replace the supreme leader, this king? You know, so that's just going along, I guess.
Well, 3 days after the Super Bowl is the 42nd day of the year, and pretty much every time Iran's in the news, it's a 42 ritual. So if anything's going to happen related to Iran, I'd bank more on the 42nd day of the year, which is also the Vatican's birthday, than I would the day of the Super Bowl.
Well, if you look at the stadium from in the Super Bowl, it's pretty sure it's Levy Stadium, which
Levi.
is yeah, Levi, yeah. But isn't it what home team is it? Is it the 40? Is it the
49ers, named after the gold rush.
But I'm pretty sure the stadium is has no roof, so you know they could use some drones to attack. You know, I've always seen these videos about how they say you know they could use drones. But here's the thing though, who would they blame? Who would they blame? Let's say it does happen. I think it will eventually happen, but let's say it does happen. Who will they blame? What specific group? I think I think it could be, they could blame Hezbollah. You know, I'm pretty sure he even said that. I think one of the reasons they went in Venezuela was like,
I don't think anybody would ever believe that Hezbollah would have drones flying over the U.S. I can't imagine that. It'd have to be a bigger power like China. So, but yeah, I highly doubt they'll mess with the NFL. It's the #1 distraction device over here. And if something did happen at an NFL game, you would see business.
But think about it. Think about it. But think about it. If they attack, they blame Iran. Then they can
yeah, they don't need to do
topple Iran.
They don't need to do it the day of the Super Bowl.
I mean, just make sure just make sure though, because you know that stadium does have literally no roof.
Levi Stadium is it was built by Magnus and Klemenkic Associates, who also helped build the World Trade Centers in New York. But yeah, I highly doubt the Super Bowl.
Well, here's another thing. It's February 8th. It's still the year of the snake. I'm pretty sure 2001 was the year of the snake. It's also 11-day numerology at the date February 8th. So that's just something.
Okay. Yeah, it's just before the year of the horse begins. All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
But wait, one more. I think one more thing. The reason I even thought about this on February 8th is because, you know, it's not just because it's 88 days after the Jesuits general's birthday. And Trump equals 88. We all know Trump. He's like very connected to 9/11. So 9/11, the next 9/11 has to happen in his term. It has to. It literally has to happen in his term. You know. So it's going to happen soon. Remember, it's going to happen sooner than later. Wait, listen. If when they attack, it's going to happen. When they attack, you know, the National Guard is in all these cities. Imagine if they attack the National Guard. I mean, you know, it's literally the National Guard's already there, man. Like, you know, why do you think the National Guard's there? You know, you know, so they already know what's going to happen.
All right. Yeah, every year there's a lot of predictions that the Super Bowl is going to blow up this year because the predictive programming's out there. You never know, but like I said, I have trouble imagining.
Just make sure though.
Thanks, Micah. All right. Let's get Evan on here. What's up, Evan?
All right. I made a kind of a small discovery today. Of course, you remember this former Seahawks quarterback, Matt Hasselbeck, right?
We want the ball and we're going to score.
So apparently last year, on the 14th of April, 14/4, his dad died. And of course, Matt Hasselbeck is Jesuit educated at Boston College. But the thing is, the date that his dad died, April 14th, was 201 days after Matt's birthday.
Good one. Yeah, I didn't realize that his father passed away. Yeah, what do you know? What do you know?
And his dad went to Catholic high school as well, and I think he died a span of 353 days before his birthday, the 71st prime.
Yeah, for people not up on it, interesting information about how the last 2 times a new pope was installed in that football season, the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl. The first time they lost, Super Bowl 40, that was back in the time of Matt Hasselbeck. And the second time they won, that was when they beat the Broncos in Super Bowl 48, like Seahawks equals 48, and the other way, Seattle Seahawks is 43, like the one with 43 points. That was also the 94th season, like Seattle Washington equals 94, and so does Roman Catholic Church, which might be part of the reason they keep syncing up the Seahawks with the Pope. This will be Super Bowl 60, the 56th of the modern era, and Pope does equal 56, like Seattle, WA, which also equals 106, and this is the 106th season. So yeah, it is a very interesting storyline.
And of course, Hasselbeck also did finish his career in Indianapolis, which equals 201.
Okay.
And hold on, let's see, was there one more? No, that was. Oh, I guess one more thing in regards to Seattle. Of course, the only Super Bowl that they won was the first Super Bowl to be played on the 33rd day of the year, and that was in New York, which equals 33.
That was Super Bowl 48. Yeah.
And this upcoming Super Bowl will be the first Super Bowl played on the 39th day of the year in New York, also equals 39. And we know Seattle used to be called New York at one point. So I don't know if Seattle has the best narrative.
I don't think New York. I don't think so.
Well, wasn't it called like New York Alki or something like that?
I think there was something about New York there, but I'll look more into that history. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Seattle necessarily has the best narrative in the NFC, but it is interesting.
Okay.
All right, that's all I've got. Thanks.
All right, appreciate it, Evan. Thank you. And yeah, shout out to King Richard. He looked into the lawyer representing Maduro. And yeah, there it is. Mr. Pollock, who graduated from Georgetown in 91. That's interesting. That's back when the first Gulf War was going on. 91. But yeah, those damn Jesuits. ZZ Top. You got to mute your video.
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
Uh-huh. You got to mute your video, though. Otherwise, I'm going to be hearing myself.
No, I did. I turned it off, actually. Hey, man, a quick question. I was looking in the Gematria Bo Nix, obviously number 10 with Broncos. It equals 26 and 28, kind of like 2026 and in the day and month of the Super Bowl, 2-8. Do you think there's any validity to that? Maybe MVP?
Say it again.
Bo Nix equals 26. Bo Nix equals 28. The game 2/8, the date, numerology, and the year 2026, obviously when the Super Bowl plays. Did those numbers play into that man's name?
That's interesting. I'll put more to it.
All right.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. For some reason, I was getting a lot of feedback with him. Well, what's up, Jacob?
Hey, man. So I heard somebody before mention possibly the Seahawks making the Super Bowl. And so something I noticed yesterday, which I'm sure you've noticed in the past, ESPN likes to clue people in with the pictures that they use on articles. And their playoff preview picture was Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, was in the middle of the picture, surrounded by pictures from 3 different teams. They used the Eagles on the left side and the Broncos on the left side as well. And the right side of Josh Allen was 2 pictures of, one of them was a Seahawks player and the other one was a Seahawks coach, with Josh Allen pointing at the Seahawks coach. And so I thought that's interesting. That could be a clue right there. Maybe a Bills-Seahawks Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl, but I do think it's interesting that the only Venezuelan player in the NFL is the Patriots kicker. So I don't know, maybe this weekend
It is interesting because Maduro also got captured 106 days before the anniversary of becoming president, going with all the 106 stuff with this 106 season.
Yeah, and the guy's birthday is January 2nd, the day before the capture, which, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the mission started the night of January 2nd. I don't know.
Okay.
But I think it's interesting. And his number is 36, his jersey number, and Maduro equals 36.
Okay.
He's on 27 field goals for the season going into the playoffs, and Maduro equals 27. So I don't know. Maybe he gets the game-winning kick this weekend because it's the first game after the capture, but it's something interesting.
Speaking of 106 rituals, you guys, today's the 106th day of John Harbaugh's age. fired after the 106th season on the 106th day of his age. And remember, he won Super Bowl 47 over his brother. That was the Ravens over the Niners in the Blackout Bowl. Yeah, just another 106 ritual right there. Boom.
Yeah. But yeah, it's all I have for now.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Here, just so you guys can see, this is birthday, September 23rd. Check this out. September 23rd, 25 to today, 105 days later, or boom, the 106th day of his age. And all 106 rituals all year. Remember, Irsay dead 106 days before the season kicked off, the Colts owner. Armani, the Eagle, 106, established during the 56 NFL season. Armani dead right before the Eagles beat the Cowboys in the opener. And in that game, Eagles got their 106th home win versus the NFC East. But from then up to now, nonstop. And what a script it all is. And it's just, all this stuff's a joke. For those who aren't on the Patreon, we knew the Steelers were going to get it done. We called it out a month in advance. Aaron Rodgers going to finish the year with 174 wins. Last game versus the 174 team with a gazillion 174 rituals to date. Baltimore Ravens 174. And again, we love Steelers in 31 too, as Lamar Jackson picked up his 31st loss. But yeah, nothing but scripts. It's all shows and narratives. All right, I got 5 minutes, and then I got to go get Sweet Girl. So last chance to join the stream. Notice the American mind, right? Nobody's called in about the imperialism, the overthrow of another government. They're ready to talk football. They're ready to talk some football in the Super Bowl. So that's what I mean. I don't even know what to do, you guys. I think we're hopeless as a society. The programming's too deep. The conditioning's too deep. We're too superficial. We're too shallow as a people. I don't know. I just don't know what to do. Thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Yeah, Chiefs with all the Joe Montana tributes in recent years did finish the year 6-11. Joe Montana born June 11th. The Eagles also finished 11-6. The other way you could write Joe Montana's birthday. Joe Montana from New Eagle, Pennsylvania. The last of the Joe Montana Bulls was just last year. Somebody says, F you and Maduro. Come on and tell me why you're so proud to be an imperialist. We're inviting you, Steven. Steven, the link's dropped. Come tell me all about the FU and Maduro and why American imperialism is so great. Again, just to give it a simple analogy, is it not the same thing that saying, you know what? Why shouldn't I just go over there and kill my neighbors and take all their shit? Why not, man? I mean, I'm manifest destiny. I'm greater. Why shouldn't I go over there and kill them and take everything? Isn't that the American way? Isn't it the American way? Here we got JB Rants. What's up, JB Rants?
Hey, Zach. Really appreciate you having me on. I plan to spend about 15 seconds and get out of here. I watch you every day, and all I wanted to come on and say is that people who are into truth research and people who are into at least knowing that things are a little bit off, that write off Gematria, they're stupid people. They're missing literally the key. And if you let me, excuse me, if you let me go, I'll get off with that. But they're just missing that one, because they can't fathom that the world is run by numbers and codes. They just, for some reason, these smart people don't get it.
Is it that, or is it that they don't like numbers?
6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. No pun intended.
Sure. Yeah, I know you're right. Do you think there's a way that we can change this problem, or do you think it's that quote up there, you know?
Yeah, more you, more me, more millions of channels like this, so that we can't get banned and just keep getting the message out there to overwhelm the public school system and the fucking mainstream media.
How long have you been on YouTube for?
Officially since 2009. I woke up in 2010. I'm going to be 42 this May. And I've been on a lot. I got very, very politically involved in 2015, and then I was banned because I became a supporter of Orange Monster in 2016, and I had a very contentious relationship. I was doxxed. I was, all this and that. And but so to answer your question, what's 2026 minus 2009? That's how long I've been on.
17 years.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I just, isn't it? I find it amazing how many YouTube channels there are now. Just they show up in my feed. They have these monster views, and it seemed like they just all came out of nowhere. And
Well, you're baiting me into something that you and I already know. Most of them are bots, BOTS, and they're bought and paid for by whatever is and has always been against channels like. I don't want to put myself in the category of you because you're the shit, dude. But you know what I mean? There's a whole system of bots against us. You know that, but maybe some of your new audience doesn't know that. For me, it's
how could younger
it's
people
obvious.
know? Like if you're just getting on YouTube for the first time, it's just amazing to me how it works though, because there used to be a lot of us that were the truth speakers, and anytime you would search YouTube for the current event, we'd be the ones that pop up, and now it's just all these new channels that they do seem to have nice backgrounds and camera trained, but they're all just parroting what you hear on the mainstream, and it's just. You see them with 1 million views, hundreds of thousands. There's a channel like mine that's been around forever.
Overnight. Yeah, over a weekend. I mean, they'll get when a brand new video comes out and I'm alerted to a channel and I see it as 26,745 views in 12 hours. I go, what's going on here? And then I look at it and it's politics and it's a lot of the stuff I'm into. It's someone I've never heard of. And then the next day they're on the shows. I'm not going to name these channels, but I think we're talking about the same thing. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on and saying hello.
Thank you, man. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Please keep doing what you're doing. We love you. Take care.
All right, appreciate that, man. Thank you. You know what's interesting about this Pats kicker who's from Caracas? Remember, Caracas equals 53. We invaded Venezuela and took Maduro on the 53rd day of the Superior General's age, while they think about doing the same thing in Iran, where the CIA overthrew Iran in 53. But look at this: the kicker for the Patriots, his birthday is the day before that happened. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Of course, he went to a Catholic high school. Who in the NFL didn't? Huh. That is quite strange. The only Venezuelan player plays for the Patriots. His name's perfect. You see how his name equals 98? Look at New England Patriots, you guys. 98. Look at Patriots alone. 98. Remember Tom Brady, Mr. 98. Remember what he did in the 98th NFL season? It was 8 years ago. Super Bowl 52. That was the one in Minnesota where the Eagles got their first championship. So that was the 239 Super Bowl. This time the Super Bowl is 239 days after Trump's birthday. All right, but thank you to the super chatters. Thank you, Fallen Exposure. Thank you, King Richard Television. Thank you for becoming a member, Jermies and Ermin. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Sorry if I didn't, but appreciate you becoming a member. Man, I'm gonna have to go study my Roman numerals to even get that one. Yeah, the Pats kicker being born in Caracas, that is wild. One day after his birthday. What do you know? And what do we always say? The pro sports are all rigged and scripted. They got all the pawns in the right places that are all synced up with their news and world affairs. I mean, Edge came out the same thing for over a decade. And thank you, Rad P, who's been watching since 2020. Appreciate that you're thinking about the Patreon. Thank you to everyone who does support the Patreon. King Richard said the 53rd day of the year this year, old 222, will be 50 days or a span of 51 days after the Maduro capture. Well, 50 was the big number, right? 50-date numerology, drug 50. U.S. said they don't have to pay out the $50 million reward now. Like, see, we saved you guys so much money. We saved you $50 million. Sure, this mission only cost $1 billion, but at least we saved you $50 million. All right. Yeah. Anyway, thanks again, everyone who hits the like and the share. Congrats to the winners. Again, this knowledge, you guys, so many ways it can benefit. Again, study the markets, study the crypto, learn the patterns, see how this is the system that's being used to rig it all. Again, Kabbalah, the cabal. This whole thing comes from Kabbalah. Doesn't it all start to make sense? The cabal. You've heard this term, the cabal, the secret political hidden hand. Go figure that they'd be using components of Kabbalah in their orchestrating of the world. Again, that's where this whole gematria thing comes from, Kabbalah. Leave it there for now. Until next time, True Seeker.